Great. So today, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be uh, taking you through the process of downloading QGIS. We won't go through the whole download because the download might take, depending on your Wi-Fi, around like 45 minutes. But I'll show you where to go for it, and then I will do a quick demonstration of QGIS. All right, so let's get started. Downloading QGIS. If you're in the master doc, you can either scroll down to the section where we have the resource here, or you can just Google QGIS, and it will bring up our web page and download options. If you have Windows, go here. If you have Mac or Linux or anything else, go to whatever you have, and then go for either the big button, but we would recommend the most stable version, so the long-term release. So what we would do is we click on this little link and it starts downloading, and it's you can see it says 48 minutes left. We're just going to cancel that because I already have it downloaded. So I'm going to open up QGIS, but it's going to take maybe a couple seconds to open because it's very large. In the meantime, any questions so far? I'm assuming not, but please speak up if you do. Great. Okay. We're just gonna wait for QGIS together. For the data that I'm using, I'm going to be using a Corine dataset. Corine Land Cover it's done a whole survey of the land cover of all of Europe, and you can download the individual countries. You may be interested in this as a potential data source for your project. So I've got mine downloaded, and that's what we'll be parsing in this video. So the first thing that you see when you open up QGIS is this screen. It's got news that you don't need to worry about and any recent projects, which you won't have if this is your first time. So the first thing we're going to do is go over to this section here. And we're going to scroll down to XYZ tiles. XYZ tiles has two options, and we're going to go with OpenStreetMap. This might just look like a little square map, maybe pointless at first, but this is going to be our base map. This is going to be our spatial frame of reference for any shape files that we open. So now that we have our base map, and as we scroll in, you can see it gets more detailed. Once we have our base map, we're going to go and open our data. There's a number of ways you can do that. The way I'm going to do it here is by navigating to where I have my documents stored. So here I open my Corine Land Cover 18 Ireland and open the shapefile. To open the shapefile, you double click on it. This is not what it looks like finally. Here we go. It has to load because every space is covered with Corine Land Cover. So we'll give it a second. You can't hear it, but my computer is whirring with the effort. So this is my shapefile dataset, but this is all of Ireland. We want only the peat soils. So now that I've shown you how to open a shapefile, I'm going to show you how to filter a shapefile. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our layer and we're going to right click it and say open attribute table. The attribute table shows all of the data points in your shapefile because your shapefile is like a geospatial data set, basically. It has the information about what each little polygon is, and it has the information of its spatial extents. So in this case, we have Corine, and Corine has all these different codes for the different kinds of land cover that there are. And they range from the 100s to, I think, down to the 500s. And so you can see 523 corresponds to sea and ocean, 522 to estuaries, 312 to coniferous forest. But we are interested in peat bogs. and peat bogs should be 412. So how do we filter out and only select the shapefiles that correspond to peat bogs? Well, we're going to go to this little funnel looking icon and click on it. And this has all of the different fields that are in our shapefile. And what we want is we want code 18 412 because 412 is for peat bogs. This will be the same for any other chlorine land cover data set. If it's another data set outside of chlorine, then I can't promise that 412 will be the right selection, but in this case, it is. So now we will scroll down and filter features, select features. All right. And now we can see this yellow section, or all these yellow sections, that is the selected features that correspond to 412. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the original layer and right click it. And I'm going to go to export and I'm going to save selected features as. If I said select features, it would be everything, but the selected features is only our filter. I'm going to save it as a shapefile. I'm going to save the file name as heat filter. Save. Great. And it's going to add our saved file to the map. So now, if I get rid of the chlorine, then we can see we have our filtered data set. And if we want to double check our work, we can right click and open our attribute table and go back down to the listing section. And we can see that everything contained is a peat bog. So we have successfully done our filtering of our shapefile. So all very exciting. But what do we do after we have completed our map? You'll probably want to include other data sets as well. Let's see if we have any others. So we have Irish counties. Perhaps you want to do something with that. This is just another example of other shapefiles we have. We have our nuts regions. Yeah, let's do our nuts regions. So maybe you want to filter these and only select EU counties or EU countries or different county layers. But again, this is just showing how to open up different shapefiles in QGIS. So we've decided that this is our final product. We're done with our map. How do we get it from here to, say, our final presentation? Well, we will go to project and we will say export and we will export map to image. This gives the current extent. You can also crop it if you like before or after the fact. And then you simply hit save. And I will say example map, save. And depending on how complex your map is, it might take a little bit of time for it to save. But now if I go to my downloads, here's my map. So that's your little mini tutorial. So now that I've shown how to do everything, now is the time for questions. So let me know if you want me to do anything again, or start over, or what any other little details mean, or let me know if everything made complete sense and you don't need any help. Either way, feel free to unmute.
Oh, well, do we need to tag or like identify the specific regions, or just that we have a shape file, we filter it out, and then we export it to the PNG or JPEG image? That's it.
So, are you saying for the project itself, for the final
Yeah,
outcome?
yeah.
Yeah, so for the final outcome, it won't just be as simple as this,
Uh-huh.
because in
Yeah,
this
because
case,
that's what I'm thinking, because it's
yeah,
it's it's not going to be as simple as this, straightforward. You get the data set, you get the shapefile, you filter, and there you have the peatlands,
Yeah.
right? So what's the catch?
So the catch is, this is just visualizing the data.
Uh-huh.
What we also need is, and this is just the peatlands data, but
Mm-hmm.
there also needs to be an element of open data. And the open data can be anything. It can be heritage information, it could be heritage sites, it could be sites of where landslides have occurred. That's the example I gave in my tutorial videos as well. And once you have that open data as well, you bring it in to QGIS, and it's not too technical. You just have to visualize it. So maybe all of the, as we found with the landslides,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of landslides seem to overlap with uh, data or with peat bogs, which makes sense because of kind of the makeup of a peat lot bog or the quality of that land. So you can do an analysis, just visual, seeing, oh, look, there's a lot of spatial overlap with where landslides occur and where peat bogs are. And that sort of analysis is kind of what we want to see. And then it's also the aspect of the policies. How do the data relate to the policies? Do policies about peatlands reference landslide risks? Things like that. So this is just an example narrative of how you might formulate your project into a final map, and then the presentation about the map. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so I have one more question. So say I have these I map the peatlands, okay, and then I bring in another data set which is from say landslides, for example, at the moment. And then I did the comparison, like I do the analysis how these two are related, peatlands and landslides, why they occur here, right?
Mhm.
And I need to design my algorithm for that, right?
When you say design your algorithm, what do you mean?
Because for analysis you need some kind of a model, right, to make that analysis, right?
No. So this
Uh-huh.
is specifically not a hackathon. It is a mapathon. It's
Okay.
supposed to be accessible to those who have little expertise in
Okay.
technological stuff. This
Hmm.
this is very much it's qualitative, not quantitative.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just do my analysis, like theoretical analysis, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. I give basically I reason it out. So
Exactly.
I reason it out. Okay. If
Yeah.
okay. All right. All right.
Don't worry. You don't need to develop a intense machine learning model within the,
No, I was
six
like
hour
excited.
period.
Okay, if it's about that, developing something, okay, fine. But it makes more sense because people are not very technical from the especially from our field. Okay, there are people from outside as well. It makes more sense. Okay, so once we have the analysis, okay, so we have the analysis of full reasons and all, and then what's the next stage?
The next stage, once you have your analysis complete
Mm-hmm,
and you've
mm-hmm,
got your visualization on the map,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
the last step is to present your data or to uh, make a kind of coherent synthesis of your
mm-hmm,
analysis. And I
mm-hmm,
actually can't talk too much about the presentation
mm-hmm,
because I don't know as much about it, but
mm-hmm,
Neil can answer the question about the presentation step.
Yeah, just to say we'll be sending out full instructions to
mm-hmm,
everybody registered for the Mapathon on Friday.
mm-hmm.
So really what we're trying to do is tell the story of peatlands for a particular country. We're asking teams just to select one geographical area, usually one country, and to tell the story of the peatlands in by using open data. And it's up to the teams to basically tell the best story they can, to work together to come up with a good story. And
Uh,
we'll be working on it and presenting ideas during the day on live on our Mapathon TV, which is going to be on YouTube. So we'll be discussing things with the teams as we go along. But it's really, I suppose, to visualize the peatlands by using QGIS. We decided to keep it simple and
mhm,
open.
mhm.
So it's really about the most inventive way of
Oh,
showing peatland data that that we can get.
So, Neil, would you provide a list of data sets, or we just need to look ourselves over the internet and then make up the stories? Because I don't believe it can be only landslides. There can be many stories to relate to the peatlands as well, and it's like a based depends on the individual what story he draws, right?
Yeah, so the master document there, and
Uh-huh.
we have a number of different sources. Basically, we've got a list of open data portals where people can look for different data. There are
Perfect.
hundreds and hundreds of different shapefiles,
Mhm.
thousands of shapefiles available on the internet. I just saw a
Perfect.
comment there asking about, for example, 3D images and things like this. There are topographical, there are shapefiles for literally everything you could imagine. They're very much open for usage. And
Mhm.
what we want is for people to discover these. We're not trying to tell people exactly how to show peatlands. What
Yeah.
we're trying to do is learn from people, and during the day share ideas, work together to
Perfect.
create ideas without getting
Perfect.
too technical.
Yeah.
It's not
Perfect.
it's
Perfect.
not
Yeah.
about technical brilliance, it's about
Yeah.
inventiveness.
Yes. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Got it. Thanks. Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you have any other questions, not just Abdul, but anyone else, if you have any other questions about finding shape files, the process of kind of deciding within the master doc, in each section of policy discovery, shapefile discovery, and open data discovery, we have some recommended steps/tips for how to find relevant data. So definitely recommend the master doc and the YouTube video tutorials based on it. The runtime is less than an hour, so don't worry, you wouldn't spend the whole night watching it. Are there any other questions?
Maybe a quick one, Al.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the selection or filtering,
Mhm.
so obviously we might find or we might encounter open data sets with are rich in elements. So are we just targeting blocks, or what exactly mean by inventive? Be inventive, like we can come with our own data sets, or it has to be around blocks? That's the main question.
Yes. So there's the three elements that you are so there's the three elements of the judging criteria. I'm not a judge, but we will have three judges. And there's three judging criteria. The first is the data sheet, which I'll go more into. The second is participation, and the third is the presentation, which again, you'll be hearing more about at least by Friday, if not sooner. And then within the the spreadsheet, there's three tabs. There's the policies, there's the peatland shapefiles, and there's the open data. So you'll need to find policies that relate to the shape or that relate to the peatlands, or also to your open data, and then additionally the shapefiles and the open data. So you do need to have the shapefiles relate to peatlands at least one. It's okay if you want to focus on, I don't know, beach data for the rest of it, but as long as you have peatlands in there somewhere, then that's good. You've checked that box.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, we are not just restricted to one shapefile. We can have as many as we want, and their corresponding stories or the right?
Exactly. Yes. The
Yeah.
open data can take the form of
Yeah.
shapefiles, or it
Yeah.
could take the form of tabular data. But I do think that shapefiles might be more fun.
No, I'm saying you need say you have a shapefile for Icelandic peatlands,
Mhm,
and it's open data, right? So
mhm.
similarly, you can have for Ireland, UK, Finland, Norway, as many as you can,
Yes. Yes.
right? And then for each you will have a different open data as well.
I mean, if the shapefile is open, then just put it in both tabs. It counts. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I just saw Aldert, your comment. Plus to look for. Oh, that's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you can look for forgotten or hidden away peat areas by combining all those things. I was working on it in the Eifel in Germany to look for possible better sponge working of the soil, and then you find them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk on Mapathon TV about it on Saturday.
The problem, it will be a very sunny day in Europe. Everybody wants to do gardening.
Fair. Fair.
But I will be there. I see if I have some of the GIS pictures because we made some presentations from it, and it works really well.
Brilliant. Yeah.
But it's amazing. This is open source. This is much easier as getting the stuff from the regional government, get a password, having to pay for stuff, and then nobody can help you, or nobody knows exactly how it works, and why the hell do you want it? I like this. I'm happy.
Great. Glad to hear it. Sorry, I'm just now seeing all the chat comments, but it looks like Neil was addressing some of them. Thank you, Neil. Mirza, you're saying what's the use case or cases? What do you mean?
I guess you forgot that you asked a question, so move on. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. All right. Are there any other outstanding questions then?
No, I just want to say well done, Al. That was excellent. You did a very simple way of doing it, and I love the comment that Aldert made, because that's what this is about. It's about open data and open source and freeing peatland data and allowing people to be inventive. I do want to answer Mirza's question, because what are the use cases? We're not prescribing use cases. We want people to tell the story of the peatlands. And what Aldert is kind of saying is, like, it would be great to show hidden peatlands if that's what his use case is, or somebody's. And also, if he wants to work outdoors, why not rig up his computer or his Wi-Fi or something out of doors and do the gardening and do the work at the same time, or sit in the garden and do the Mapathon. We can do that if we can extend the Wi-Fi out of doors or to a phone or something like this.
Great. All right. Well, it's nearly 7:30, so we might get you all out on time. Any closing words, Neil?
Am I still on? Yeah, just to say well done. Thank you for this. And I mean, I suppose it's important to say that if anybody's confused, we have a technical team of about 12 people and a support team basically on the day of the Mapathon. We'll be sending out instructions on Friday about everything to do. And we should have teams from, I hope, at least 12 European countries participating, which is fantastic. So there's been I expect by the time we've finished, it'll be about 200 participants, which is quite a lot. So really, there's been a great response. I'm sure they won't all turn up on the day, because, like Aldert says, it'll be sunny and some people will decide to go to the beach or something. But that's okay. But we'll have a good participation, and I hope we don't run out of pizza. That's the only thing.
All
Good.
right.
So well done. Great, quick session.
Great.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
session, guys. Yeah.
Great. Thanks. See you
Thanks,
guys
Al.
Saturday.
Thanks a million. Thanks, Neil.
Okay.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Al. Thank you, Nick.
See you. Bye.
Thank you very much.